What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining another episode of the Leaders Unfiltered podcast, coming to you live from CWS in Dallas, Texas, with Lou Holcomb. I have so much excitement for our episode today, and I know it's an exciting time to be in the industry and in this city right now, 2025. So thank you so much for joining us.
I'm honored to be here. I love this podcast, so it's awesome to be a guest.
Yeah, we're going to kick it off on just getting your thoughts on CWS. And for the listeners out there, you guys can tell my voice is a little hoarse because I have just been talking so much the last 24 hours. And I'm so excited to even talk with you today, Lou, because not in a weird way, but I've known about you for a long time. And just before we even hit record, I was like, Lou, I actually get to discover who you are on this podcast, like authentically. So I'm so glad that we can do that and also have some unfiltered moments, maybe some vulnerable moments that you can share with our audience. But let's kick it off with CWS. What are some of your biggest takeaways thus far this year, and any other thoughts around the show?
Yeah, I think I've just heard a huge call for simplicity and transparency. Yeah. I'm hearing contingent leaders kind of just going through a process of discovery, realizing their programs might be too complex. And if you have a really complex program, even though we're CW nerds and we want all of the latest and greatest, if it's too complex and it's difficult to use, it doesn't matter how slick it is that you think you built it. No one's going to use it. And it just erodes trust with the business. And I think that that's what we're seeing. So I think that's kind of the call to action, is building ecosystems that are simple and easy to use, easy to follow, maybe fewer platforms, fewer differences in vendor models and all of that. I think we're really looking for simplicity and making ease of use a huge priority.
It's almost like, as complex as these programs are, scalability is a factor. And if you have variant layers of complexity, you don't have scalability. So you have to choose which parallel you want to run down.
Yeah.
And simplicity at its finest through these complex webs of demands and how evolving the world of work is happening. One of the things I love that Peter said yesterday was, stop being an administrator and start being a strategic layer within your program. So it's pretty exciting. And how many years now have you attended the show?
This is my third.
This is your third? Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. We were just going over your background. Why don't you give the audience a little bit more about Lou and who you are and where you came from and how you grew up in the contingent workforce space?
Yeah, so I was in the Army right after high school. I was a Russian linguist, and whenever
A Russian linguist?
Yeah. So I went there, and
that's awesome.
It was, I learned a lot from my military experience. A lot of good things and a lot of what not to do also. But my time in military intelligence got me to build my soft skills, I would say. That's probably the highest value of taking intelligence from different teams, taking data, and trying to be a good storyteller to put it all together for the right stakeholders so that we could all get on the same page and get buy-in and build a mission. Yeah. And then, accomplishing the mission at all costs, right? So that perseverance is there for sure. When I got out, I fell into staffing, I think, like everybody else. I think, I didn't really have a plan B that wasn't physical, and I was injured in the military. So I didn't really know what to do and just had to lean on my brain and those soft skills and everything that I did. I fell into HR because my mom is in HR, and she's been a huge inspiration to me. And I just wound up at the largest, Randstad, right? Yeah. I think everybody winds up there. I spent a lot of time there, probably too long, I like to say.
How long is too long?
Honestly, 5 years, move on. I think it's a great stepping stone. I think we all take a pass through Randstad at some point. But it's a grind. It really is. And I kind of made kind of a reputation at Randstad. They called me the fixer. Yeah. So for a while I was doing kind of building custom solutions for things that were sold that didn't fit a specific model. Yeah. So it was cool. I got a lot of exposure for in a very short time frame because of that. I wasn't put in a box in a specific industry, and I got to leverage best practices in maybe this is a light industrial practice, but it works really good in healthcare over here. And I got to be creative like that. So I learned a lot very quickly under an exceptional leader, of course. Her name was Kristen Parker.
Shout out, Kristen.
Yeah, shout out Kristen. The Women Supporting Women, she is like the epitome of that, and just gave me every opportunity to learn and grow, put myself out there. But I was really building remote workforce kind of before COVID too. So when that happened, then we had this huge surge in demand. Kind of led to burnout for me. I didn't really have the support to scale like the world needed. And I kind of put myself in a position where I didn't set clear boundaries for myself. So I take responsibility for that as well. But I ended up putting myself in a position where I just couldn't continue after a while, and had, I think, the time to think like everyone else did during COVID and kind of reprioritize. So I left Randstad, did some consulting where I got my creative juices flowing again, and not the person ultimately responsible for delivery. Take that pressure off. I think that's probably my best advice for someone in burnout is get your creativity back. And then did some consulting, and then just looked for a company that I wanted to be a part of, and found UKG, saw all the branding and thought, is this branding or is it actually good culture? And
some of the best culture in the country consistently.
Yes, I've been there. It'll be 4 years in November. And I can say that it's not just good branding. I'm really, really grateful to work with the people that I do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to speak on a couple of different notes that I'm just inspired by listening to you and your background. We've spoken to a lot of people, and you bring the supplier-buyer dynamic, right? Yeah. But in the middle, there's always this case of burnout. And one of the things that you said you would give advice to is to find your creative juices. Any other advice, maybe to somebody listening to today's episode that's on the verge of burnout? Am I asking that selfishly?
Maybe.
No, I'm not actually. I've also learned the hard way on that one, but I think it's a thing that's not spoken about a lot, especially within our space. On the supplier side, there is this relentless gruel for delivery all the time.
Yeah. I'm just coming back from 5 weeks of medical leave. Yeah. And if you don't make time to take care of yourself, your body will make you. Wow. When I think about just, I am replaceable at work. The work we do at work is important. Our program is important. Yeah. The experience we create for people is important. The work we get done is important. But I'm most important at home. Wow. With my family. And I need to make sure I'm there for that. And I think if you draw some boundaries and you have to respect those promises that you make to yourself. Yeah. When I was at Randstad, I would get off the phone at 11 p.m. and be back on the phone at 6 a.m. That's not okay. Wow. Right? So, and it's just you get into supporting customers that maybe operate 24/7 or have a really intense cyclical project. But if you're in the staffing side, you move from cyclical project to cyclical project, sprint to sprint to sprint, right? That's kind of one of the areas in contingent workforce that makes us so valuable. But on the supplier side, it can be extremely unhealthy. The customers that you're going to, the sprint ends. On the supplier side, it doesn't. You move on to the next one. Yep. And if you're the fixer, you move from problem to problem to problem. Sprint. Oh my gosh. And you have to take a break, and you have to breathe, and you have to draw boundaries. The inbox will be full, as my new leader says, whether you're there or not. So the work's not going anywhere. Take time for you.
Oof, love that. So you gave a shout out to Kristen too. Yeah. What were some of those qualities and characteristics that she maybe taught you or made you acknowledge the fact that she is women supporting women in the workplace?
I think she just gave me a shot. And she believed in me.
You. Yeah. Before you did.
Yeah, for sure. I would just have an idea and float it by her, and she'd be like, hell yeah, go do it, you know? Right. And just made me feel very empowered, let me take that discretionary effort to try to turn something good to something great, right? Yeah. And it built my confidence to have small win after small win after small win, and to just have support of a leader that I looked up to, and just how real and genuine and authentic she showed up as herself empowered me to feel like maybe I could do that, you know? Yeah. A little different for me showing up as a lesbian woman in the workforce as well. There's this kind of nuance that I have to navigate. But she gave me some courage, I would say, with her example.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Russian linguistic Army vet. Thank you for your service,
of course,
by the way. And now into the contingent workforce space. You said that through that process, you learn what data can do to build a story. And it's almost like an art form, right?
Yeah.
If you really think about it. So I would love to hear your take on how workforce analytics has really evolved. And preemptively, like, can you foreshadow where it's going with AI?
Yeah.
Super loaded question, right?
I know. You ask great questions on this podcast. That's why I love it. Yeah, I think in my experience, stakeholders are really looking for data-informed storytelling that is tailored to them. And if you can show up with just searching for understanding as your first priority and come with data-informed storytelling that is tailored to their specific instance, it really builds credibility to say, look, we're able to shine a light on what used to be blind spots.
Yeah.
And now we're able to kind of pick up on some patterns like this vendor is consistently delivering, right? And maybe we should invest in that partnership more. This role is going really underfilled regularly. What are we going to do about that? And here's opportunities where we can improve. And we're able to do it in real time and much faster, right? So we're able to act before crisis. And I think that that's really the power of AI and analytics, is that it's helping us be much more proactive instead of our team sometimes calls ourselves, people use us as the oh shit button.
Yeah.
When things go wrong, they're like, what miracles do you have in your pocket? Because our plan didn't work and we really need help. So I think that's really helping us become plugged in and more embedded in the business and more strategic.
Oof, that's powerful. So what do you say to that buyer that has their data everywhere and doesn't have a way to consolidate or even begin to assess it with zero budget?
You can build your own dashboard, and there are free resources. You can learn anything now on the internet.
Yeah.
But I really think that building your own dashboard to just empower yourself to be able to refer to the data point is just get to that starting place, even if it's just a high level one. I mean, when you're building custom solutions like at Ronsider stuff, they have tools, of course, but every tool doesn't work for every organization. So being able to be creative and find places to pull and build a dashboard that you can get data from quickly and start informing better decisions instead of going with your gut, the faster you can get there, the better. So even if you have to do it yourself, or call me, I'm happy to help. That's one thing I love.
Did you just hear that?
Yeah. I love that about this industry.
Yes.
Everybody is willing to share what they've learned. Everyone is more than willing to help each other out. There's enough success to go around for everyone. And I would love to just be a small part of everyone's story if I can. So yeah, I'm
awesome.
open to it.
Thank you.
Of course.
I will take you up on that offer one day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I hope some of our listeners do as well. So how do you do all of that? Let's say in the midst of trying to revamp your program and you're at this dichotomy of vendor optimization versus vendor diversification.
Yeah.
Right? And then if you want to splash in the state of where you think diversification is landing at right now from a supplier lens, maybe with the environment that we're in, you're welcome to as well. This is, the oh shit button, Leaders Unfiltered. So you're welcome to give your thoughts around how to maneuver, maybe what are some difficult times for a lot of diverse sort of intention in some of the programs.
I think it's not really a verse. I think it's about which stage of your program you're in. Yeah. So early days, I think consolidation can be a lifesaver because you're really looking for fewer, tighter relationships to build that trust.
Yes.
And you need to prioritize maybe predictability over variety for a second just to get your arms around everything. But then as you mature, diversification is power and scale, right? So vendors have totally different strengths. Please lean on them. And if you just sequence it in a way that you build trust and then move to scale, where you have a vendor now that, is really strong in maybe a really niche area of tech that is helping you build a tailored solution for maybe a skeptic in your business that isn't on board with the program yet, then you start moving towards that. But I think it starts with consolidation and moves to diversification.
Ooh, that's good. So any tips on the effective change management, either internally or externally, when consolidating?
Yeah. I think it's really about the vendors that you can establish trust with.
Yeah. I spoke to somebody yesterday, pretty big program, 10 suppliers. I was like, damn.
I get it.
That's almost a bragging, right? You know what I mean?
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, we have those conversations, right? Even with prospective vendors that really want to be a part of the program, we're stating, our program is at capacity right now, and we are focused on not further diluting the activity, which I know if you were a vendor in our program, you would appreciate, right? Yeah. So,
but talk about that trust, right? That inherent trust.
It is about that, right? You want vendors that believe in the mission of your program and want to bring in more activity of the program. You can't have vendors that are just vying for exclusivity at every turn or usurping the terms of your agreements and causing confusion or creating additional work and costs by misclassifying resources where you have to catch them and put them back in through the right part of the program. It just destroys trust. And I think suppliers, there's a lot of great people in this industry, and the ones that act ethically and are really there to support the vision of the organization are going to be there for the long haul. You're not going to lose those, right? And if you start there, it just benefits everyone to go along with the mission of the program and not try to do their own thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that we were touching on at the earlier part of the episode was your culture, right? Mm-hmm. And the culture that you guys are in. And you have spent a good part of your career doing this framework around remote work. Mm-hmm. And every single person that I've spoken to at the show this year is trying to figure out how to mesh this together through this globalization that's hitting at them. Like hundreds of people in India, maybe some folks in Latin America, your onesie twosies around specific markets around the world and enabling that through culture. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts around, or maybe some advice that you would want to give, maybe some trial and error that you've discovered in your own path on globalization and culture and how you tie that through a remote working world?
Yeah, you have to start with building the relationships, I would say. I recently went to India last December. It was the first time ever.
How was that?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which part of India did you go to?
Noida. We have one of our biggest offices there. We have like over 3,000 people there now.
Yeah.
It's growing, growing all their programs and incredible intern program and awesome women in leadership focus, trying to build that out. Very great work going on there and exceptionally bright people and teams in India. But I went there because I did an assessment. My UKG had a tool that kind of helped you do an assessment and kind of measured your outlook against maybe cultures in different areas. And it showed me differences in my views that the other cultures might have.
Wow.
And it was really eye-opening for me because I was able to see, like, I'm not hierarchical at all. Right? Wow. I'm really not. We all work together. We're all trying to achieve the same goal. But in India, I think they are more hierarchical. And so I didn't understand how to navigate who I should go to for what. Yeah. And so I felt less effective, but it was just because I didn't understand how business was done.
Yeah.
And so I learned. And then when I visited, I learned so much more just by honestly having meals together, getting to know people, understanding what was important to them, and making sure that people understood I'm not here to just push an American program on you, right? Mm. We want the visibility at an enterprise level. We want to be able to build our buying power in the market by, consolidating our volume through a single source program. But we don't want to lose the regional nuance. We want to make sure that it's you're part of creating the solution. So co-creation, bringing your stakeholders along, making sure they feel a sense of ownership over building the foundation of the program, I think is really important, and making them feel heard. But yeah, I think you have to do that with every group. I think it's not a switch to flip. It is hard work and establishing relationships, because things will go wrong in implementation.
100%.
It's not if, it will go wrong.
Yep.
And whenever things go wrong, you don't lean on data, you lean on trust and relationships to get through those hard times. So if you don't have those, you'll have a harder time when that happens.
Well, I thought it was pretty cool, too, that you took the time to educate yourself on the nuances.
Oh, for sure.
In that market, which I feel like is one of the areas where we hear about why it didn't work out, on a global strategy. Mm-hmm. And, you guys said that you built a proprietary, index. Is that right?
I think it's a vendor. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's available to everyone. I think it's like a kind of a personality test thing, and then you go through and compare you to, and you can use it on your own teams too. I can't remember what it's called, but it'll highlight maybe areas of strength that your team has and areas of opportunity that you might, I don't know, struggle with communication because of difference in personality, but it'll do the same thing with cultures.
Oh, awesome.
Some sort of global index. I'll share it with you.
Yeah. I'd love to find that, find out more about that, because we've got pockets of workers internally and externally all over the world, and there's this variance on how we do things as Americans, and I feel like, why does it...
We think we're the center of the universe.
Yeah, I'm like, I sent you an email 90 minutes ago.
Right. Yeah, we're very different, and it's important to just recognize how our culture can come off in other areas as not being innovative or open or a good partner. It can just come across very differently. Depending on where you're from. And so sometimes, like in India, business is done in person, so you need to be in person.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And taking the time to break bread.
For sure. That's definitely the highest value add.
Yeah. Especially if you have to go to India and eat some good
great
food.
food.
I mean, I'm glad that you could.
Fantastic food.
Oof, I bet.
Yeah.
I totally bet. So you also mentioned that, UKG has been one of the best cultures you've probably worked at. What are some of those characteristics that really made you affirm that? And this is a selfish question as somebody that's trying to build a business and seeing different variances in culture, probably without from the Army to Randstad to UKG to even being an independent consultant somewhere in between there. What makes a good culture in the eyes of Lou Holcomb?
That's a great question. For me, I focus on trying to build a culture where people feel like they have permission to try and permission to fail, and really enjoy each other. Like our team did an exercise where we built a social contract for our team, which is just how we want to show up for each other. And we built it together. So everyone has a sense of ownership because we agreed on it together, right?
Wow.
So we have this, almost every time I've done one of those, they all start with be a good human, right? Assume good intent. We all have tough days. But basically creating an environment on your team where it is essentially your safe space. If I am driving you nuts, I feel like you should be able to tell me that. Right?
I have never heard of a social contract.
No? It's a really great exercise.
I am truly drawing from inspiration right now.
Yeah, it's such a great exercise. I learned it from another exceptional leader in my career. Her name's Jackie Leonard. She's a legend.
Okay.
And one of the best humans I've probably ever met in my life. She's just fantastic. But she really took us through this process, and so I use that as well on my own teams. And it's be a good human. We assume good intent. We care personally while challenging directly, which is kind of from the Radical Candor book, if you've read that. And we read books together too. We focus on our own personal development. We take care of us first. We kind of view ourselves as I was an athlete growing up, so I take that kind of approach to it of it's your job to take care of you so that you can show up and play your best at the game. We're depending on you on the team, right? Yeah. And so we hold each other accountable for taking breaks and making sure that, if I feel a sense of I want to deliver my best. So if I'm not at my best, I'm going to go get at my best. And then I'll come back and deliver why you pay me, right?
Yeah.
So we all kind of feel that sense of responsibility, and we are all dedicated to the mission. So we're excited that we're doing hard things, maybe things that have never been done before. We're inspired by trying to bring something creative and just learn and grow. So if we feel uncomfortable, we know it's because we're growing, and we've just got each other's backs, and we all want everyone to succeed. So I love the people that I work with. I say that lightning struck several times every time that I was able to hire someone, and I still pinch myself that the people on my team chose to join us sometimes, because I'm just so grateful that they believe in the work that we do and that they want to do it with us.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's priceless.
It really is. I feel very, very lucky.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think this means that we're almost wrapping up our show, which is crazy because I could sit here and really just
flew by.
I know. But we do this thing.
Okay.
Where, and you probably have heard it in some of the other episodes, we go into ChatGPT or whatever the AI tool of choice is, and we're saying, we're going to interview Lou Holcomb.
Uh-huh.
What's one question, ChatGPT, that you would ask?
Okay.
So here is your ChatGPT generated question. And I get so jealous because they're so good. All right. If you had the power to rewrite one long-standing rule of contingent workforce management that no longer serves today's reality, what would you change and why? And if that's not like a philosophical question,
I like it.
Ever, yeah.
I like it a lot. I think it would be treating contingent workers as outsiders.
Oh.
This wall that we have between internal employees and contingent workers, I'll get rid of it. It just creates so many inefficiencies. And I really think that if, any type of worker that is contributing to business outcomes deserves to be treated with respect and get the same experience of, a clear expectations and the tools they need to do the job and a culture where they feel included. And I'm not saying to blur the lines of, co-employment and create risk by any means. I'm saying empower the contingent workforce. Stop treating them like an afterthought. Plug in your contingent workforce into your strategic workforce planning at the beginning. We're not a no-shit button. We are a strategic center of excellence that can empower you to build a flexible workforce so you can respond to changes in the market or move closer towards your customers' needs. And if managed well, maybe we won't have this culture of layoffs throughout the corporate world, right? It's a scarcity of skills out there, and they're in the contingent workforce. And if you want access to them, you need to treat them right because they deserve it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Where's my mic? I can drop it on the floor now for you. That was incredible.
Awesome.
And if you have the power to be able to do that at your organization, then time to act. Not a no shit button.
Right.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. This was so great.
Yeah, this was so much fun. This is an incredible episode. We want to thank our listeners as well for tuning into today's episode. Time is a really valuable gift. So thank you, Lou, for spending some time with us. Thank you to our listeners for spending some time with us. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Leaders Unfiltered. Thanks for joining, guys.
Bye.